want to thank you for your generous gift, and you can be sure it'll be used for the upbuilding of the church. I'm going to turn the services now with Brother Jim.
That is watermelon. Okay. I really don't know how to handle this, and red face started a while ago. So if I tear up, that's fine. I've never been ashamed. I can't remember which one of the kids asked me when they were little, Daddy, is it wrong to cry? And I said, not if there's something big enough to cry about. I'm glad to see everybody here. I've spent the biggest portion of my life here. I'm looking back, when I came here, probably in October of 1961, there's 2 people in the house that was here then. There's 3, I'm sorry. Paula was here. Essie was here. And Sister Gay. That was it. The march of time, it goes on even as you sleep. And somebody said that life's a journey, it's not a race. And I read that first time I read it, I said, let him talk to Sue. We all spend our lives differently because we're not all alike. We never was and we never will be. And one of the greatest things that you can do is to accept people as they are and try to have love and compassion and understanding. All of us, we're going to be remembered for something. And I'm glad to see there's some members of the Church of Christ at Blar's Mill that I went to. And so many of our young people. How many of you attended youth meeting here? Raise your hand. Okay, all over the house. If we had something going, we had a project going, and I know the people don't have 13 kids anymore. Used to, really, just to look at how things have changed, and I don't know how it's going to be in your generation. Don't know what's out there. But at that time, we'd have 50 or 60 kids in here for youth meeting. And we would have projects going and stuff, and there was always, Karen was here. You could always count on Karen. By the way, you remember Bob and Apple from my house? She got her hair wet. But you call on the Lewis girls. They put that thing together. And I never will forget. How many of you remember Arlie Nickel? Okay, Arlie was a preacher, lived up the creek here. Now this is an little unusual service today. I'm going to reminisce a lot. But we was having a youth forum, and this place was full. And we handed out this thing of an animal, and you had to enact that. I got a frog. And so I'm chirping, and I was young enough then, I was jumping all over the house. Well, Arlie and his wife was here. They'd never seen anything like that. And he asked me, he said, Jimmy, what got into you? I said, I was a frog. But just things like that I can remember. This place, in about 53 years. Paula, Bina Sue, myself, we used to sing. We had a little trio, and they were good. Those were good times. I've had a good run at life, and your run at life, you have no idea how long it's going to be. You have no idea. And so my advice, after all these years, is try each day to be kind to somebody. Or just say something. Now, I got to tell this one. It's back when gas was $4 and something a gallon. And I go in that field zone and I fill up, and this girl, her hair was a mess. You could tell that girl had a hard time. I stepped up to the counter and I said, county firm, I said, honey, I want to tell you one thing. And you can just see her will. I said, I'm glad you got the gas and I got the money to pay for it. Riding her up. It don't hurt you to tell somebody you've done a good job. Or I appreciate what you do. Doesn't take much effort and energy, and you'd be surprised what you can do for them. Bunny Sue and I were married December 23rd. See, I've got her down pat. 1960. Got married. We will soon be married. How many years is that? Somebody quick. Huh? My goodness, subtract 2018 versus 60. Well, anyway, so much for that. I'm talking to a bunch of geniuses. But we did. We got married in December of 60. Didn't have my head screwed on straight. Wasn't a very good person. And I got married. In February of 62, our first little boy was born. Kevin, stand up. You're not little anymore. Stand up. Stand up. Oh, no. He's mine. And you know, just before that, in October of 61, we used to have revivals here, and it wasn't a 4-night deal, fellas. You guys preach, we preach 4 nights now, and we think we're wore out. We used to go for 2 weeks. And I had some good men in front of me that I learned from. Brother Charlie Frederick, Brother James Conley. We had deacons that was out of this world. And the elders. Sewell Hamilton. Sam Little. Victor Conley. They're all gone home. They're all planted right up here on this hill. Now that is the final place of the body. It is not the final place for the soul. Regardless this morning of our condition or our situation, there is a part of God that lives in you. And you go back to Genesis to find it out. He took from the dust of the earth, of the dirt, and he formed man. And then the Bible says, God breathed into him the breath of life, and man became a living soul. The same process is not stopped. The little one that you had or have, there is a part of God that lives in him. It is life. That is the life. That is God. The breath that you breathe. And in 1961, we had a big revival there. And as a young man, I didn't know anything. Thought I knew everything. Didn't know nothing. Here I'm about to be a daddy. And I said, I got to get my life straightened up. And I did. I'll never forget that day. We were baptized down here in the little creek that runs down. There's enough sins that went down Licking River to condemn the world. Who was it got baptized here? Sarah. Sarah got baptized here. And who was it said something? Tell me what you said or something. Somebody said something.
Well, just the very next week they decided to put the baptistry.
Oh. Yeah, okay. But we did that. In a couple, 3 years, I had this nagging again, the same nagging that I had to change my life. I had this same nagging again to preach. And I ran from that. I mean, I ran. And I lost. And I've been doing it ever since. I tell people when you get to feeling real good about yourself, or I do this to me. I might have used this over the whole group with you. Tim knows what I'm going to say. If you took my body, the spirit's gone, if you took my body and melted it down into its natural elements, I'd be worth 98 cents. So when you get to feeling good about yourself, remember who you are, what you are, and finding your purpose in life. Just a couple of things. I've lost my notes. I normally didn't do this. But I'm thankful today for the memories. Now, it's not always been pleasant. If you're a Christian and you go through this life and don't have any scars on you, something's wrong. Something is wrong. You are to want to stand before God beaten, scarred. That's what life does to you. It beats you and it scars you. Mentally and sometimes physically. So if you have scars today, be proud of every one of them. It's a badge of honor. And I thank the Lord for memories. Got a lot of my family here. I've got a son, grandsons, and great-grandsons. Don't giggle, you've got some too. Red face sitting over this spirit. You have to. My life, probably most of you, we've touched somewhere in living life. We've touched each other. And I hope it's been for good. Somebody is going to remember you. I have a tendency, and everybody, it's doable. If there's unpleasant things in your life, they can be blocked out. It can be done. And so I remember nothing but the good things. Now you got to work at it. But there's an art to it. First thing you got to do is say, I need some help. When I talk to God in prayer, it's like talking to you. There's no set way. And you two, in order to talk to Him, one good old friend to another. Hey, my adopted son here, he's really not. His hands are all over this place. We get him to do work and stuff. Donnie, Karen. I'm going to overlook somebody. If I do, I don't mean to really. Deborah and Paul. My seamstress, Judy. She has to shorten my britches. But everybody in here, I really do. I love you. I don't have any enemies. I don't have any. I can do that. If you have enemies, it'll come from them, not me. I'm not responsible for anybody but me. And when you start thinking that you're responsible for other people's sins, it's the devil's way to keep you, punish you, beat you. Not my sin talk. And it's being free. It's being free. And it took me a while to do that in the Christian experience. Because people say things about you, and that's okay. People do things to you, and that's okay. You'd be surprised what it'll do for you. Jesus said, you will know the truth. And He said the truth will set you free. There was another thing I wanted to touch on. We used to run a little old bus. No seat belts. Jammed in there like sardines. We'd had a wreck, nobody couldn't get hurt. You couldn't travel very far. And we started going up Rock House and picked these two little old girls up. Sandbars. They moved back here from the town. And we started picking them two little old girls up. Next thing you know, here come mom and dad. The next thing you know, they were a big part of our church. Job said, naked, came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return hence. I take nothing with me. And yet, a lot of times we spend 90% of our time on stuff. Does anybody in here got any stuff? We got stuff. Thank you, Susan. It's all about priorities. And it's about whether you want to live eternal and be immortal, or if you want to die. And your spirit will die. And there will be no existence. Something all of us have to deal with. The one thing, I'm not on schedule, I'll learn 15 minutes there and 15 minutes there. I told Doc a while ago, thanks for patching me up. You think you got problems? Let me tell you, I'm not doing this to get any sympathy. I need no sympathy. I can't half see. I can't half hear. By the way, Meg, I need a tune-up. I can't half breathe, and my back hurts. So if you think you got problems, let's talk about it. Attitude makes the difference. You can go home and you can lay down and you can quit and you can die and you can mean nothing to nobody, or you can be an encouragement for someone else. It's your decision. It's your life. Nobody has the right to tell you how to live. But it does you no good to live to be 80-year-old and kick yourself every day, or have doubts about life, or doubts about how you've lived, what you've done, guilt, how we treated someone else, or what we said about someone else. It's a horrible thing to live with. The only thing that you will take with you is love. Love does not die. When the body dies, love is a part of the spirit. And I want you, if you will, to turn to the book of 1 Corinthians, 13th chapter. And to the Corinthians, Paul, in the previous chapter 12, he was telling them about the whole body is important. The whole church is important. And he uses that. He said, what would it be like if all of the body was an eye? Or say to the foot, I don't have any use for you. Or say to the hand, I don't have any use for you. And he goes on to explain that everything works if we use it right. The 13th chapter of the book of 1 Corinthians. In the 12th chapter, he closes that conversation. And he said, and yet I show you a more excellent way. This is the way of excellence. Listen to it. Listen to the voice of God. Our lives can be so much better. Paul said, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels. Greatness. Great men die. Great women die. Everything dies. Everything you touch today, eventually, sooner or later, will die. That's the process. And he said, even though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, here's what it makes him. He said, I have become as a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. I've got the New King James. It's going to be a little different. In other words, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I'm empty. And then he says, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand that all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains but have not love, I'm not anything. One of the greatest things that we all need is love. It's in our nature. It's in your little ones to be loved, protected, cared for, disciplined. We all need it. And without it, we're not anything. We're not anything without love. And though I bestow all of my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profiteth me nothing. Again, out of all those great deeds, you see, he was talking about his inner person, the person that he lived every day with. You are the person that you're going to have to live with when there's no one else around. You have to live with that inner person. Here's what love will do. You can tell. You can tell whether you love or not. Here it is. Biblical definition of love. Now there's different types of love. Love between a man and a woman. Love for children. All kinds. But this one is aimed solely at our relationship with God. What's inside of us. This is the love that Paul is talking about. And here's what it will do for you. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself. It is not puffed up. It says it does not behave rudely. Does not seek its own. It is not provoked. It does not seek its own, it's not provoked, and thinks no evil. Now that one right there is a toughie. I was talking to someone the other day. They were talking about thoughts. Jesus had them when he was tempted. And here was his response. Get the inch, Satan, get out of here. I've had to tell myself that this past week. Get off of my case. Get off of my back. Leave me alone. And somebody back there sitting saying, Jimmy needs to see a psychiatrist. I do. On a daily basis. I consult the great physician. Birds fly over your head, and you can't keep them from it. But if they start to build a nest there, you can smack it out or get out. So evil is constantly around us. We're surrounded by. There's evil spirits right here. Paul said, when I would do good, evil is present. He will try to rob us of even what you've heard. Say, you don't need that. When I would do good, evil is present. Does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. We will do what we have to do for someone we love. We will do what we have to do for someone we love. Jesus said, greater love hath no man than this, that a man will lay down his life for his friends. And there's somebody that's going to die today to give you the freedom you've got to sit here. Remember that. And appreciate life. Appreciate what you got. You got a good mate, love her and be good to her. Did you hear that, son? Are you listening to me? We have the best time ever was. I've got the word to hear. She'll be off in one room and I'll be off in another. And she'll start talking. I said, "What? Wait, hold." And I'll come in there and she'll get me right in the face. Look at me, Jimmy, this is what I want to tell you. Has any of you all done that? Try it sometime. Yeah, they'll listen. Get that old boy right here. Say, listen to me. I'll be honest with you. When we got married, I was full of myself. And I got a good woman. She had to be to put up with me for all those years. And I love you, and I want you to know that. I appreciate that. You men, have you told your wife you love them this morning? All right. Let me hear an amen. Okay. You see, we start taking things for granted. We take God's love for granted. We never do anything about it and say, well, before I die, I'm going to get my life right. You got a lot of things you better stuff in her in that last few fleeting minutes. The Bible says, he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. He that believeth not shall be damned. You say, I thought we were talking about love. We are. God is just. God is fair. God is wrathful. The better we understand God, the better we can live our life. We see something happen, we say, that ain't supposed to happen. That's not your call. I don't make a call on anything except what this book says. And it's been good for me for a long time. But love is the key. And here's part of our problem. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. If I ask you this morning to describe heaven, we talked a little bit about it, and I'm not sure who it was. It's just yesterday. Sue, did you and I talk about dying or being put to sleep or something? Who was it? Michael? I talked to somebody. And I said, go to sleep. These people disagree with me there. The Bible said, asleep. And if you laid down last night and there was no clock or any account of time, you cannot tell me how long you slept. And here we start trying to figure out God. Okay, it's going to be... The Bible tells us that God doesn't count time like you and I count it. So don't let that mess up your mind or fool you. The resurrection He said, those that are asleep in Christ shall rise first. And then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up. Sweet. He said we know part of that, but we don't know it all. That's why we still have hope. Here on the last, we're going to conclude with hope, faith, hope, and charity. Now, before you go any further, which is the greatest? I can't hear you. Charity. You know why? You don't hope for something if you see it. You don't have to have faith that you're going to see it if you see it. The greatest of these is love because it follows you. It goes with you. I'm talking about our relationship with God now. Talking about our relationship with Him. And we can't have a good relationship with Him if we can't have a good relationship with each other. It's an impossibility. God said, don't tell me you love me when you don't love your brother whom you have seen. It's an impossibility. Okay. Love never fails. Whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be done away with. The conclusion of that. You could apply that to other sermons in the Bible. But on this particular one, I compare it to the part we don't know. Perfection will only be when we become immortal. Then we'll be perfect. Then we'll be perfect. Boy, I'll tell you what. This living one is tough. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And in this time that we're living in, if you don't agree with someone, they're your enemy. My right ear is buzzing, man. Does that mean I've got a little better? I don't want you to get too serious. I want you to think. Do we still act as a child? I'll take my bat and ball and go home. Do we act as mature Christians? Because there's a deep love, not between each other, but there's a deep love between us and God, which is the only thing that's going to last. For now we see in a mirror dimly. Whew. How many of you looked at the mirror this morning? Raise your hand. Nobody? Come on. Now, I know about us who did. It took her 5 minutes. 10 minutes to put her makeup on. We all look in the mirror. I say they ain't a wrinkle one. It's funny to tell me. That's what we do. We don't want to see ourselves. It is God sees us. So we pretend there's no wrinkles. So we look in the mirror. Life is a mirror. It really is. What I throw out is mirrored back to me. Do you wonder why someone doesn't like you? You know why? Because you might not like them. Life mirrors yourself. It mirrors me. What comes back to me is the reality of I have to read that mirror and see what comes back to me. Now I am known in part, but then I shall know just as also I am known. Now there abides faith. Did you ever stop and think when, after you have a good big lunch out there, if you don't go to sleep going home, how much trust you put in the guy that you're meeting, driving? How many of you think about it? Oh my goodness. That's a missile. 3 feet from you. That could take you out of this world. Why think about it? Because sometimes you got to watch the other guy. And sometimes I've been the other guy. And I'm glad people was watching me. Getting that old truck of mine, put. Old white truck around town, Michael drives it. And everybody said, what had got into Jimmy? I'm having a ball. I'm having a good life. It said, and I know I abide, faith, hope, love. These three things. But he said the greatest of these is love. That's the one. Faith in God? Absolutely. Hope in God? Absolutely. And they all, both of those two will vanish at your physical death. But love transcends. And it goes with us. I want to thank you for being here today. I have had a good time. And I've enjoyed seeing everybody. There's very few strangers here. We don't have any strangers here. It's just people we haven't seen in a while. We'd like to see you come back. Now, I'm not retiring. There is no retirement for preachers. Do you hear that, Dan? Tom? There's no retirement. But I'm about out of fuel. I'm running on fumes. But as far as I know, I'll still try to be a good elder, and I'll still preach the fourth Sunday. It's just that we needed somebody with a little more oomph. And no, I'm not retired. I just want to be pastor anymore. And I've done that for almost 50-something years. Sharon, do you remember that little placard you gave me? I kept it on my desk. A pastor is Jimmy. No, I'll try to look that up, but that made a lot of sense to me. And I am so tickled to have everybody here, but especially my son and my grandson and my daughters. You spend a lot of time in this place. What are you grilling about, Jamie? We've had to run you all over the place. Never will forget, I got to tell this. Patsy and Scott were stationed up in New York. And we had to get Jamie home. Me and Sue didn't want to make a trip. And Tommy Connolly will go anywhere. So, Tom said, why, yeah, me and Robert will go over. When they left here in the van, they had a mattress on top of it. It looked like the Okies. Robert, you'll remember this. Jamie slept a lot. He would. He and I left the house car one day and he went to sleep before we got to Cal Ranch. He did. Huh? Yeah, he was 3-year-old. And I remember the night he left, he was sitting on those steps out there and we got ice cream. And we loaded him up. And that's one of the sad times I hated to see you go back home. But anyway, they stopped to eat. Well, Jamie's sleeping. So every time they stop to eat, he wakes up and he said, "Is that all you fellas do is eat?" Is that true? We have had such a good, listen, I have had such a good life. And the thing about it is, you all have been a big part of it. I wouldn't be anything without you all. Wouldn't have any memories, I wouldn't have nothing. Matt, you're not out of the woods. We had to put the hurt on you a time or two here. But it's good. And I just want you to know I love you. And I wouldn't take anything from the memories. We're going to sing our closing song. And there's 2 or 3 things we do in that. If you've gotten out of shape with God and you're not happy anymore, just bow your heads and say, "Lord, restore to me the joy of your salvation." David did it, had to do it. There's no disgrace in that. Or if you've never been a Christian, you can do that right here today. Quit running. If you're happy with your situation today, you're probably not going to do anything. But I've got a feeling that everybody's not happy with their life. You need to do something about it. We're going to stand and close on this song. And I've asked Danny for 2 more. Now, one of the reasons I'm holding, you don't want to have to get out there and wait on dinner. Some of the girls went on out there and they'll have it ready. And this is the one exceptional time and service. And we're going to stand and we're going to sing. Number 197. It's a true song. Nothing can't wash away your sins but the blood of Christ. And Dad's done right here, right here, right here. You're 80? Yeah. No, you're not as many of us who were baptized into Christ have put on Christ. How can you put Him on if you haven't done it? We're going to stand. We're going to give that invitation. And then, I can't get around good. So I'd like to hug your neck, shake your hand. And Danny's done got a couple of songs. All right, here we go.